Well, my name's Michael Albert, and I am the Senior Manager of Smart Alec Hatters on Gertrude Street in the fine suburb of Fitzroy. So we're a hat we sell hats. So my job, I'm sort of head stylist, hat maker, senior salesperson. I curate and stock the shop, but we also custom make stuff like everything from scarves to whatever. Started this store 10 years ago, and as a business venture, we started on Smith Street, just around the corner from here. And so 10 years later, we're still going, still here, and become sort of a bit of a fixture in Fitzroy now. Gertie is a funny strip. It's had some wonderful checkered past. It's some of it's not pretty, but over the years, it's been the haunt of gangsters, of all sorts of things. A lot of artists and a lot of creatives lived here because it was inexpensive, but also people that lived here because they loved it. Yeah, so you had people who were cashed up who could probably lived anywhere in Melbourne, but this was the place we loved. The street life's really interesting, which is what makes it, and the diversity. Because the flats are up this end of Fitzroy, so there's that wonderful mixture of public housing and multi-million-dollar properties, and it's a nice mix. You can tell by the cars that are parked on Gertrude Street that the clientele's changed. It used to be BMWs, now it's Maseratis and, shitloads of four-wheel drives. But it's always had a nice edgy mix of curious stores. My worry is that it's changing. It used to be far edgier, I feel, and there were more curious specialty stores. And sadly, as rents go up, they can be culled out. Look, you're forever optimistic, otherwise you wouldn't do it. If I was too pessimistic, I'd probably just fold up the business and, go and do something else. So it's about that mixture, I often say I don't care what opens on Gertrude Street, as long as it's really good at what it does, that adds to the mix. So back to that, what we were talking about with the interesting mix of businesses and restaurants here. If we can keep that, if we can maintain that quality, then the future's pretty good. So, this is one of my favorite old hats. It's had a hard life, but yes, as I said, I do love this hat. And it's just something I enjoy wearing. Yes.
My name's Rose Chong. This is my shop, and we're costume people. We came to Fitzroy because it was cheap and nobody else wanted to be here. It was very down market when we arrived. That was in '79. This street was actually famous for drugs. There was pretty much nothing else down this street, and it was seriously seedy. But we needed a very large space, and we knew that our customers were not that worried about the environment, and there would be no passing trade. So that's why we chose it. People wouldn't let their kids do work experience here because it was too dangerous. Across the road there's a pub called the Builder's Arms, and that used to be notorious. I don't think you could actually buy beer there. It was just drugs. And then it changed hands and it went up market. They actually sold beer and food. And then other people had the guts to move in, and it's just gone up and up and up since then. But that was the turning point. As you probably guessed, I'm a senior citizen, but so long as I can still machine, and I like coming here, and I'm still able to do it. And some of the nasty bits I've managed to get rid of. like dealing with the tax department. Fitzroy is a wonderful place to live. It's a complete cross-section of the community.
G'day, it's David Evans here from Harry Evans & Sons, the billiard table people in Fitzroy.
And my name is Luke Evans. I'm David's son, 5th generation of the family business. Okay, well, we do everything. We're full service. So we build the tables, we restore them, we maintain them. What else do we do?
We talk a lot.
We talk a lot. Drink a lot of tea.
The quality of the product means that you don't necessarily get a lot of return customers. They buy one of our tables that lasts a lifetime and moves on and becomes a family heirloom. My great-grandfather arrived from England in 1882 as a player. He came here to the gold rush period. I would say he was a hustler because he was here to make money. Norm and Dad purchased the building. There were squatters in here, and to get them out they put a deposit on a house and gave them the house in Collingwood. Being part of Gertrude Street, being probably the oldest business in the street now.
We've been here the longest, but not everybody knows we're here.
When I was in my early years, I found it a very scary place. There were lots of brawls in the street, people being chased up the street with axes, people being chased with baseball bats and cricket bats, and people being beaten up and kicked underneath cars.
The area was a bit, down in the dumps, bit of not a nice place to be. So many cafes and stuff have popped up. I think there's like 6 hairdressers within 100 metres of here now, where that just wasn't around, 10, 15 years ago.
I never went as far as Gertrude Street being a rough place. I never really ventured much past the front door of the shop because basically I wasn't allowed to.
Pretty much every school holidays or whatever, you're in here because that's what Dad's doing. So you come in and you help out, and next thing you know, you're helping out a bit more and you're looking for more money, and now you're here full time.